Alan Moore is a writer and magician from Northampton. He's a stranger to hairdressers and worships his very own god in his very own way, blurring the lines between religious belief, magic, and the power of the creative imagination. If you film him from strange angles, you can make him look very sinister, but he isn't really.
Welcome friends to Blogging It Up. My name is Robert and this is my review of Watchmen, and I'm joined by a special guest, none other than Alan Moore. Okay, so I'm going to dive into this review. The movie begins in an alternative 1985, at least I think it's 1985. I'm going to be completely retarded with facts and names in this review, but it begins with a guy called the Comedian. He was a part of this group called Watchmen who were trying to make the planet a better place and whatnot have you. But the Comedian has done some really bad things in his life. I won't talk about those things because for the people who haven't read the graphic novel, I don't want to ruin it for you when you see the movie. But this guy has done some bad things in his life, and at the beginning of this movie, he gets his ass kicked. He gets killed. And the attack is brutal, it's so bloody violent, and the one thing about this movie is the violence is so intense and so insane. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, the Comedian dies, we don't know who killed him, it's by someone mysterious. And the only person that really cares is a guy called Rorschach. Again, Rorschach didn't really make any bad decisions in his life, but he's a psychopath. But at the end of the day, the guy is trying to do the right thing. But he will kind of go to extreme lengths to do the good thing. He seems like the only person who cares about the Comedian's killing, and he's trying to figure out who killed the Comedian. And we find the story gets revealed as we go through each character's backstory. The USA are in war with Russia, and Russia are going to launch nukes, and the whole story is kind of building up towards that as well. How to stop this from happening. Then people who haven't read the graphic novel will be probably expecting a lot of action, but there isn't. This movie is very character driven. Each character gets their own section in the movie where you find out about their past and how they came to be. And even though there's not much action in this, the character development is fantastic and keeps you interested all the way through. And I will talk about the action. The action, when it's on screen, it's amazing, and there's so much bloody, gritty violence in this movie, and this is not the kind of movie where you take your kid to. So if you're planning to see Watchmen, you've never read the graphic novel, you don't know what it's about, the trailers give an impression that's not really violent that much, but the movie is, there's swearing, there's sex, the violence is insane in this movie when you do see it. There's, when Edward Blake is getting beaten up in his apartment at the beginning of this movie, that is so brutally violent, and I love it. I loved all the violence in this movie. Watchmen isn't about the violence, the gore, the action. It's about these characters and exploring who they are and the teams within the characters. Zack Snyder did a fantastic job with this movie. It is phenomenal. The guy is getting better with each movie he does. He has done justice to the graphic novel, in my eyes. I had a few nitpicks with the movie, and those things were little small things, like for example, Rorschach's mask. In the comic book, it shows how he got the mask. In the movie, you don't see how he gets the mask. I also felt that more screen time should have went to Ozymandias, Adrian. I felt like they kind of didn't show much of him, and I want to explore the character even more because I found him very, very interesting. I didn't really like some of the Night Out 2 scenes and Silver Spectre scenes, when they're like lovey-dovey romance, those scenes kind of fell flat for me, and I would have given this movie a higher marking, but those scenes kind of just let me down, and there's too many of those scenes with those two being lovey-dovey. Alan, is there anything about this movie that you didn't like? Ian Gibbons, we feel the penis size in the movie was too big. Oh, okay. Overall, I give Watchmen a 9 out of 10. What do you give Watchmen out of 10, Alan? Good on ya, Zach. You didn't really give a score, you kind of just... Oh, never mind. Alan liked it. It's about time he liked one of his graphic novels that were adapted into a movie. Also, I'd like to say thanks to Landon Johnson for helping me with the intro to Blogging It Up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Landon did all the scenes where it says like toy reviews, movie reviews, blogs about me. He did all that stuff. I couldn't do that by myself. Thank you, Landon. You're awesome. So that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.